A little nippy.
You can take that to your seat if you like. We're finished.
I'm good.
Can I ask you all to please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's town board meeting. It is August 13th, 2019. As you know, the first thing on our agenda tonight is public hearing. Prior to that, I just want to read a couple of points to you about it. This project, as you may or may not know, has been in discussion for probably 10, 15 years that I can recall. The town board, in its normal process, referred this project to the planning board for the review and comments. We received a positive recommendation from the planning board, understanding the challenges of the site and the need for additional studies necessary to move forward. Our obligation as a board is to present this to the public, receive comments and recommendations, and give the property owner the opportunity to present their plans. We follow the legal requirements for notification to the public. We understand recent requests to expand on that process, and we're looking into that. And we will probably handle it differently moving forward. We are obligated to give them the opportunity, as with any property owner. Any request for a zone change, but there's no guarantee of any approvals. The timing was not intentional. I know that some people believe that this is because of the vacation period, it's not a good time to have this. But this hearing will not be closed this evening anyway. It's going to be going on. After this evening, as we expand the research, gather additional comments, and we'll advise the developer as to satisfaction of our questions, but also come up with some creative solutions or alternatives for the site. With that, at this time, the developer will present the project.
Should I read the public hearing, or it's not necessary?
Yeah, you can read.
Yes?
We'll just read the notice.
Notice of the public hearing by the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant to amend the town zoning map for properties located at 140 Bradhurst Avenue, Section 117.13, Block 1, Lots 4, 5, and 6 on the town tax map. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held before the Town Board of the Town of Mount Pleasant, Town Hall, 1 Town Hall Plaza, Valhalla, New York, 10595, on the 13th day of August 2019 at 8 o'clock p.m. for the purpose of consideration of amending the tax zoning map to rezone the properties located at 140 Bradhurst Avenue, identified on the town tax maps as Section 117.13, Block 1, Lots 4, 5, and 6, consisting of approximately 12.4 acres located in two zoning districts, R20 and OB6, to all be listed in the OB6 zoning district. Please take further notice the proposed amendment is available for review in the town clerk's office. Please take further notice that at the public hearing, upon said proposed amendment, an opportunity to be heard in regards thereto will then and there be given to those favoring passage of such proposed amendment and also those opposed thereto. Susan Marmol, Town Clerk.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, members of the Town Board, residents of the Town of Mount Pleasant. My name is Joel Sachs. I'm a senior partner in the White Plains law firm of Keene & Bean, and we're here tonight representing the applicant, Bradhurst Realty Corp., and with me is one of the officers of Bradhurst, Mark Pugny, who's sitting with me, who I think a lot of people here probably know. Anyway, as the supervisor and town clerk mentioned, Bradhurst Realty owns a large parcel of land on Bradhurst Avenue, near where Bradhurst intersects with Lakeview Avenue. And the site owned by Bradhurst, and Mr. Supervisor, it's hard for me to show the map to the audience as well as the board unless I kind of show it to the audience. The property owned by Bradhurst is outlined in blue, and there's about 1.6 acres in blue that are presently zoned for office building for OB commercial use. And the remainder of the site, which is this area further to the west, which consists of about 10.8 acres, is in the R20, the residential zoning district. And the petition which we filed with the town board was to rezone this portion, the R20 portion of the Bradhurst site, from R20 to the OB6 zone. So the OB6 zone would then extend not only from Bradhurst Avenue onto the remainder of the Bradhurst property, but there's some other industrial property further to the east that's also zoned OB6. As the supervisor indicated, we were before the planning board. The planning board gave a unanimous recommendation to approve the rezoning. I also want to show the audience a couple of other maps. This is a site map showing the adjacent streets. It also shows Armand Place. The property itself, as many of you probably know, has a flower shop on it that's been there for many, many years in close proximity to the Evans Cemetery, as well as a single-family residence. And here's Lakeview, and here's Bradhurst Avenue. Now, proposal that we had presented to the planning board and actually to the town board initially, the town board by law had to refer this to the planning board, was assuming the property is rezoned to OB6 for our client to develop the site with 2 3-story medical office buildings. One approximately 50,000 square feet, the other about 30,000 square feet. Those would be uses permitted within the OB zone. So that is what our present intention is. And I think one of the main reasons, or if not the main reason, we're here tonight is to hear comments from the public. I know, and we've seen a lot of letters have come in, a lot of petitions, or not a lot of petitions, at least one petition has come in, and we know that some of the residents of the town do have some concerns. So we really would like to listen tonight to your concerns. As it turned out, our main engineer from John Meyer Consulting JMC is on vacation, so he can't be here. So I'm acting as the attorney / pseudo engineer. But again, whatever comments the public gives tonight orally, and again, we've already gotten from the town clerk's office a number of letters and emails. We will certainly take those under advisement. And as the supervisor said, after we hear your comments, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board, we'd like to kind of go back and consider everything and return to the board on an unnamed, uncertain date in the future. So with that, unless any members of the board have any questions for me, I guess it's up to the
Board have any questions?
Not at this time, thank you.
All right, so do you want to hear from the public?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to raise your hand, we'll start. Yes, sir.
Should I step up? Or?
Yes. Let's go to the microphone.
Did you already sign in, sir?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cal Salim. I live on 6 Armand Place, actually right here. And I've had the pleasure of living on Armand Place for 8 years now. Wonderful neighbors. I wouldn't trade anyone that lived on my block and the surrounding neighborhood for the world. I only have one annoying, displeasing neighbor. And they happen to own this property and the property across the street from me. Several years ago, the property across the street from me, which is also R20 zoned, the owners of that property, with complete disregard for the people on the street of Armand Place, parked construction trucks. To this day, they still have construction equipment. A year ago, that equipment, that apparatus had come crashing through their fence onto the street of Armand Place, and if my kids had been playing outside, they would have been severely injured. I did send out emails to Town Hall members, with no reply. Taking this into consideration, imagine if they get the zoning they want for this property. What can happen to us? That's one. Two, I don't think they even considered us in their proposal, the residents in the area, nor the amount of traffic that would come to the area. It's bad enough right now for each and every one of us that live on these streets to leave our blocks and get to work, and to also come home. So I'm vehemently opposing this proposal, and I'm asking that the board reject it. Thank you.
Anyone else like to address the board? Yes, sir.
Did you sign in?
I did.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm James. Hi, everyone. My name is James Johnson. I'm co-president of the Mayfair Knollwood Civic Association, located right behind, I guess, near the Cabin Restaurant, just down the street. Been in the neighborhood now almost 10 years, and we've been having a major issue with traffic, first off. He labeled it right off the bat. We're now in the process of trying to go through different loopholes to get a traffic study done on what's an already well overpopulated area for how much more stuff they're going to put in here. I guess mainly with the biggest threat of the North 60 potentially moving in. Once you put this on top of that, it's a nightmare already. I can't imagine what it's going to look like after that. I guess I don't know the family or anybody involved in this. I'm just speaking from the neighborhood aspect point of view. The major issues that I see aside from the traffic are when you rezone something like that, I'm an arborist by trade, and the deforestation that's going to occur, the runoffs that I'm sure every neighbor is going to have a lot of problems with. If you already look at the Lakeview roadway, I don't know, right behind that Gray Rock area, which is still labeled actually part of the R20, that has already been clear cut. There's a large row of spruce trees and forsythia blocking that view of what's back there. But technically that still is R20, and it's been gutted now for some time. A lot of equipment sits back there. With that being said, the major hazard already, Lakeview itself, getting on and off that roadway is a nightmare. The runoff from that property already is, I don't know, I'm not involved in that, but the runoff in that roadway, the potholes that occurred there, the freezing and the breaking and the cracking of the roadway, major issue to begin with. That roadway's been repaved, and if you try and pull out of Lakeview now, it's a nightmare. I fear for my kids when I'm trying to pull out of there. I feel like I'm going to get killed every time. So you add 500 people coming and going a day, easy, to that area. It's absurd. So that's how I feel. I object to the rezoning of it for those reasons, and would like to see less, not more, going on around here. So.
Anyone else like to speak?
You know, I'm going to talk to you people, because I know these people out here, and I want to thank the people on this board, the ones that reached out to me after I reached out to them. I want to thank you, okay? You called me back, I called you several times.
Can you
okay?
introduce yourself, please?
Yes, it's Glenn Acasella, 20 Bradhurst Avenue. Okay, first thing I want to show on the map real quick, getting off a little bit what it was, this whole property, if they want to rezone, you're talking like 8 spaces that are going to be on what they're considering the commercial portion of this property. The buildings are not even going to be on that's the R20 zone. None of these buildings are going to be. The house that's on that property now, that's a flower shop, is a 2-family residence. Okay? How they get away with having all this equipment on Armand Place when they're not supposed to be there, on this property when they're not supposed to be, the traffic there is horrendous. I fought Blythedale as bad as it was for the kids. I'm right on 20, right at the curb. At night, I get the drunks that drive into my yard. During the day, I get everybody that stacks up going into Blythedale. Okay? The traffic is terrible. Somebody's going to get killed there if they haven't gotten killed there soon. I know people have killed north of Bradhurst by Hospital Road, and that intersection still hasn't been changed. It's just, to even come here to talk about this, 500 so cars parking for 400, 700 parking spaces up at the 19 Bradhurst, which is another thing. I'm 20. Do you know how many cars I get a month coming into my driveway? Little old people. I'm looking for 19 Bradhurst. I got a small house. It's 20. They're looking for 19. How the numbering got all whacked out is beyond me. They go from, I think I'm the last, 19 goes to 100, then it goes back to 19. Where's the water coming from this project? The main out there is inadequate main, been fed by Greenberg for years. I've been still waiting for 26 years, I've been living there, to get water. Where's the water going to come for this development? Like I said, the accidents, my house, and again tonight, there's numerous people away, numerous old people that are in their 80s that would love to come here, but they just can't come here tonight. They thought it was bad weather. So I'm speaking on behalf of some of these people as well. It's just wrong for the spot. It should be commercial. It should be residential. How you work it out residential, it should be residential, no commercial. It just boggles my mind now, even here. And you said in the beginning, you have to relook at how you're doing these work sessions, because of a magnitude of this big project like this, it shouldn't be that we have to find it out by looking at emails, and the developers can come there and have your time for 20 to 15 years in your own words. We should be brought in from the beginning so we can be part of the process, even if we can just listen. It's not right that you have these meetings and nobody knows about it. And then somebody has to insinuate that you're doing something behind board. But I'm sorry, that's how it looks. That's how it looks. I'm sorry, I get passionate, but I lived there for a long time and the traffic gets worse and worse, and you want to build and build more. This property shouldn't be built there. As it is, that's it. Thank you.
Just to clarify, the town board is not looking to build anything. We have a duty to let a developer, an owner of the property, make a proposal. We don't have to agree with it, but we have to listen to it. Our work sessions, any public meetings are open to the public. Every Tuesday we have a meeting, except in the summer.
Yes, but you've been on record numerous times saying, and I listened to the meetings myself, that you said this is the only thing that I see that can work there. Yes, you listened to the things.
About this?
About this project, yes. You said, I've been following this for 20 years. You said once, I followed this for 10 years. I've been following for 15 years. And you said, I think this is the only development that can really, it's a challenging property. Well, make it challenging for the homes to work there.
I never approved this
Well,
project.
listen to you. I didn't say you approved. You said that you felt that this was the only thing that can work there. I heard it in my own ears. And if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure I'm not.
I think
Because
you're
I wouldn't say
mistaken.
it. I'm not, I think we'll both be
You're-
listening,
you're-
looking at the video tomorrow.
You have it, You have a right to your opinion, okay?
And-
I don't agree with it.
And I'm just saying what I heard you say. I wouldn't comment on it if I didn't think you said it. You know?
I have no
But
reason to say what should or should not work there at this point. That's why we're here.
I know, but it was your words, not mine.
So Supervisor, one little note, I know the Armand Place property was in litigation for a number of years, where the town was seeking to have the property cleaned up and not be a construction yard. I think a lot of neighbors on Armand Place were involved in that litigation, and the court agreed with the town that took the position that that was an illegal use. So the town sought, well, there has to be enforcement, there may have to be a claim in court if they will not clean it up, but the town fought for at least 4 years to stop that use on Armand Place. I know a number of neighbors were involved in it, but just as some history, so in case some people didn't know what happened for years related to the neighbor.
And Mr. Supervisor, could I just say, echoing what the town attorney said, I agree with everything he said, and as a result of the litigation and discussions with the town, the property, which we call 108 Bradhurst Avenue, is in the process of being phased out as a commercial property, and we're down to very minimal use of the property. Mr. Cooley tells me within, 6 months or a year, it's going to be pretty much 18 months, it's going to be basically shut down as any type of commercial use.
What is the reasoning for that?
Well, it's a zoning issue, one. And secondly, we really would like to consolidate all our uses further north on Bradhurst Avenue. As I think the board's aware, and I showed on the first map, we already own a portion of the land along Bradhurst Avenue is zoned OB6. And I think, Mr. Poobney, the proposal is to move whatever remains.
Basically, everything has been moved back to that OB6 portion.
It looks like it was expanded to me.
Anyone else like to?
What we'll do is have the building department go out and take a look, because it's illegal to have any type of commercial operation there. And if necessary, we will discuss this with council, but the commercial operation needs to cease on the Armand Place property.
Can I say one thing? I don't understand why it has to take 6 months.
Well, exactly. We agree.
It's been,
We
yeah.
agree.
And
We're gonna have the building inspector go out and look.
Anyone else like to address the board? I'm sorry, in the back, you were up before. Come on.
Did you sign in?
Hi, my name is Peter Greco. I live at 10 Ronald Court. I'm not going to reiterate all the points raised already about traffic and safety concerns because I do believe they're true. I want to bring a couple additional points. One is just driving down Columbus Avenue or just about anywhere, you see all these signs for space for lease, commercial space for lease. It looks like there's a lot of vacant buildings, just generally speaking, for commercial real estate. It's just, to me, mind-boggling why we would want to build yet another one. You know, people move to Westchester, I think, because they like surrounding trees, nature, the look and feel of like a suburb that's very close to New York City, but you get a country feel. I do not understand why anyone would want to move to our area where there's just more commercial space. It doesn't do any justice for the people who live here and the safety concerns that were mentioned. And, you know, secondly, my kids wait out for the bus every day on Ronald Court, and I just have to say it again, the traffic from living there for the last 6 years just keeps increasing. You know, and if you look at something like Lakeview Avenue, like, you know, if you think about anyone who's trying to get to an office every day, they're going to think about shortcuts. It's not going to just cause problems at Bradhurst Avenue, it's going to cause around Lakeview Avenue, and it's just going to create a major traffic problem. There's people now passing through the train crossings, which I think, as everyone knows, there's been safety concerns to begin with. It just increases the risk of someone possibly getting hurt, all for commercial space that we don't need. We're moving into a world where actually office space is becoming less and less of a thing. People with technology now can work from home. They can enjoy the time with their families in nice communities. Office space is becoming less and less of a thing, and we're seeing these signs all over the place. More commercial real estate for lease, for vacant buildings. I already looked, I think 465 Columbus Avenue, I don't know the exact address. That's vacant. I think the Summit, I would imagine that's not at full capacity. Why would we want to build another commercial space? The only people it seems to benefit is the family who owns the land, and I completely disagree with it.
Hi, my name is Paul Palazzo. I'm a resident of Armand Place, so I'll be living in the footprint of this project. I have a few concerns, and I don't want to sound repetitive, but I have to mention it. This will be a construction site. I've worked for the state for over 20 years on large-scale projects, billion-dollar projects. I currently work for a neighboring village. I've served as deputy village engineer. Currently, I'm code enforcement officer. So I've had a varied background. Some of my concerns during this project is, if it is approved and does get to that stage, we will have a lot of vehicles. The roads, as we know, are roads that do have concerns. One of the things I did do in the village, visual obstructions, and that intersection coming into Bradhurst is one of the worst intersections. I've watched trucks try to maneuver that turn that you can't believe. We will have a lot of construction vehicles going down that road. And I realize, I want to thank this town board and everything they've done, the way they conducted business on our behalf. And I realize that 100 is a state road, but all the construction vehicles on there, excavation, I have no idea how long excavation will take. I can't imagine the fill vehicles during that phase, concrete going through. Hopefully there'll be proper supervision. I mean, I've been on very large sites, and that's always a problem. I don't care whether it's in the city of New York, outside the county, I've worked throughout the state. That's always a problem. Now transposing that to where we live is going to be a nightmare. We also have another project neighboring this, the county office park. Concurrently, there will be other vehicles in the area, other construction. One of the shortcomings when we look at projects is we get so micro-sited. We look at one tiny project. We don't look at the neighboring projects. So we will not only have this project, it will be bordering the county also. So I could just imagine, we talk about construction schedules, they come and go. We set construction schedules, like on Columbus Avenue, and possibly due to money concerns or unforeseen circumstances below the ground, they go on far longer. So developers want a goal. However, we live in the footprint, and I've been involved in very large projects in which the residents have really withstood some very, very bad conditions. And we only mentioned a couple of them. Sound is one. The cemetery is undergoing its improvements right now. So there is a lot of work ongoing right now before this project takes place. And we have to realize that there will be that much more work concurrently going on. 100 is just very bad in traffic, as we know already. But I just can't imagine, with the additional construction vehicles added into this area, what's going to be in our residential area. So these are some of my concerns. We also have a gas pipeline right in the area, and I know sites over 2 acres in site needs New York State DEC approval. So I sure hope there are a lot of factors. This is no small project by any means. There are a lot of different factors here, and I hope that they are all really weighed, not just looking at the site itself, but all around, all the conditions around and the different effects. This is really a huge project, and I'm not just saying it as someone who lives in the footprint. I'm saying this as someone who has experienced large projects. and have seen the effects through the neighbors. And I just hope all the conditions are closely examined before final approval. And that is my concern, that the scale of this, the totality of this is realized before final approval. And that's my concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
Mr. Fulgenzi, the board, I thank you for giving us all the opportunity to speak. My name is Joanne Commuto. I am a resident of Lisa Lane and have been for my entire life, 58 years. So over those 58, yeah, okay, I just told you my age. So over those 58 years, what started as, a lovely community, although Bradhurst was always a truck route, et cetera, has certainly changed, and the living environment has certainly changed. I've been blessed with awesome neighbors on Lisa Lane. I know some of the neighbors on Armand, a few on Thomas. But when I took a look at what this project, I was here in February to look at the North 60 project that is going to take place and is quite interesting. I know it brings biotech to a new level for us. We've got Regeneron, we've got the Westchester Medical Center. This particular project, it was interesting when I looked at some of the notes, and I know Bradhurst Realty had Cleary, I think, consulting, working, and they had talked about that the site supports a pre-existing non-conforming nursery for florist use. The Kensko Cemetery sits to the east and northeast. Blythedale Children's Hospital lies to the southwest. The Boskamp Wholesale Appliance business is located to the east, and vacant land owned by the Westchester County lies to the northwest. The county's Grasslands campus is located due west of the site, across from the Springbrook Parkway. Nowhere, conveniently, do they mention 49 homes, plus I believe 25 townhomes on the corner. The planning board talks about the existing OB6 zone is geographically limited. The R20 zone predominates. In fact, the land use surrounding the site is quite diverse, and again includes commercial uses, cemeteries, Blythedale Children's Hospital. The expansion of the OB6 zone would allow for uses that would not be inconsistent with the character of the surrounding area. I have to tell you, I can't think of something more inconsistent with the character of the surrounding area. And also, as far as I know, I'm on the email list, and the board is terrific about letting us know when community, chip-in day is, and when the music festivals are and whatnot. I had never received a notice of this meeting. I had received a notice of the North 60, which is why I was here, and that was a very interesting meeting. This one we hadn't received notice of, so I thank my neighbors who kind of gave us a heads up, whoever that was out there, to kind of come tonight. So thank you. Thank you, neighbors.
Thank you.
You can sign it. Sign it.
Thank you.
I'm Susan Duffy. I live on Lakeview Avenue, and we have lived there for 21 years. We love the area, that's why we moved here. But that spot at Bradhurst and Lakeview is a nightmare. There's no way we can continue to have this project with all those cars going over there. You can't get out there now without taking your life in your hands. I almost got hit recently coming there because you can't see the cars coming around the bend until you're out in the middle of the road. If this project is approved, that has to be the #1 priority, that you fix that before they start this building, because it is, otherwise these people should be sued for anybody who gets hurt in an accident there. It's ridiculous. That's it.
Anyone else like to address the board? Yes, ma'am.
Want to, I have to.
Did you sign in?
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
I wrote mine down because this is
Could you
too
introduce
stressful
yourself, please?
for all of us. My name is Sophia Savino. I am on 1 Lisa Lane. As a resident for 19 years at 1 Lisa Lane, I am here to state that my family and I are opposed to the rezoning of 140, 160 Bradhurst Avenue. Our concerns include the increase of traffic and congestion, which already is a major issue. Our property value will decrease tremendously while our taxes continue to increase. The eyesore of another commercial development in a residential area, besides having Blightsdale's parking lot in view from our backyard and bedroom, now you are proposing another medical center to be the view from our front yard. This will impact our living environment in a negative way. There has to be a better way. First of all, do we really need another medical center in Valhalla? We're surrounded by them. So, and what about the medical center? Isn't there any room there? You did find a space for a homeless shelter there.
That wasn't us.
Correction,
It's
we
true.
did not.
No,
We did not find
definitely
that.
not us.
Well,
Absolutely not.
listen, well, we fought for that too.
That's
We
a
didn't want
county.
the homeless shelter there.
That's not
That's
us.
a county facility,
Okay,
please.
well, still.
Thank you.
It's still Valhalla, and we still live here. We have become the forgotten 5 blocks in Valhalla, and the only time we are remembered is when the tax bill is due. This has almost tripled in our 19 years here, as has our water bill, which we are told it's because we are out of network. All this town cares about is the bottom line. There are potholes everywhere that are neglected. Bradhurst Avenue is a dumping ground that no one properly maintains, and when the State Highway Department does temporary fixes, they are done inadequately. It's the town's responsibility to keep our homes safe and the roads well maintained and clean. The school bus stop, now this is an issue on Lisa Lane, is across the street, in the trench where the water flows, and many times impatient drivers have driven around the stopped school bus while my children and I were crossing the street. Adding a commercial complex will make Bradhurst Avenue even more unsafe in so many respects. Our cul-de-sac is used as a U-turn for lost cars, and I'm sure all the streets are. People get lost, they don't know where they're going, they come in. Lisa Lane, you could see the end of it, and yet they all turn into my driveway and back out and leave. Adding 400 more parking spaces across the street is only going to add to these issues. Please, 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 please reconsider this rezoning proposition. It is simply rude and inconsiderate to the families who live in the homes in this area. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the board?
I just have a question. I don't know if you want me to come up or
No.
not.
Can you sign in, please?
Oh, just for a question, I got to sign in?
Please. And then state your name.
Sure. My name is Michael Savino. You just heard from my wife right before me. I'm not going to get into all these other issues. I just had a question. A couple people made reference to the fact that 100 is a state road.
Yes.
So does the state have any say in this? Do they have to approve this, get involved? Because
Sure.
that road is not well maintained at all, as we've all said.
Right.
That would all
We know
become
that.
part of the process if this moved forward. The state has to be involved in that whole process.
And does the community have a chance to debate with the state about that, and will we be notified of it?
That would be the state. If it went to a public hearing in the planning board, that would be part of the site plan approval and everything else, and so the neighbors would be involved in that process.
Okay, that was my question. Well, while I'm here, I might as well say a couple things. My neighbor Joanne brought up an issue, she read it, I was going to read it verbatim about that quote from the last minutes of the last meeting, that it's not inconsistent. How could someone even put that on paper and sign off on that? It makes no sense. It's completely inconsistent. We're a residential neighborhood. If you could say maybe Gray Rock, which I'm hearing now is residential, even though it's commercial, the hospital, and what's the other one I'm thinking of? 19, so say there's 3 or 4. There's 50 homes. I'm an accountant, I can do math. Somehow 50 is bigger than 3. How are they saying this is consistent with commercial development? Makes no sense to me. There's plenty of places to put medical centers, other areas in Valhalla, and this is not the place for it. It's totally residential. If you guys wanted to put another Ronald Court there, I don't think you'd have anybody here. I think we'd all applaud that. We welcome new neighbors. Do whatever you want residentially. Commercial, not the place for it.
Mr. Supervisor, just to clarify too, it's a state road, so the town does not maintain it. The town cannot fix the potholes in it, and I actually lost 2 tires there. But I would have gone to the town, but they had no control over it, so the state has to do it.
correct.
So if you have problems with potholes on the road, you have to call the state DOT.
But shouldn't the town represent us and call the state DOT? The garbage trucks are on those roads every day. They see where the potholes are.
I'm sure we have, and I'm sure that we've gotten the same type of response that you have.
The town of Greenberg has signs on state roads saying, please call the New York State DOT.
Well, it isn't just Bradhurst. I mean, Armand's, half of it is turned to gravel already. I don't know what condition Tom's place is in. Ronald Court Trail is those roads are town.
Yeah, they recently just came and painted the white lines by the stop signs on every one block. They painted right over the potholes.
In the pothole.
I mean,
It means it in the pothole.
You can, when it rains, you can't see the white line because it's covered with water. It's like, what brain surgeons are doing this? I know it's the state, that's a different issue altogether, but it'd be nice if we had some representation to talk to the state. We called them, we get no reply. It's a dumping ground, it needs to be cleaned up, the potholes, it goes on and on.
The problem is they can't do anything about it because of the congestion. Because then they add to it with the construction trying to fix the roads. It's a 2-lane road going east and north and south, and that's it. And people cross those double yellow lines to get to the turn lane, constantly almost hitting people head on, constantly on that road. It's a danger to everybody. People just pulling out of their own street and a car comes flying across on the wrong side of the road, or passing buses that have flashing lights on.
I appreciate your comments, but I have to do it one at a time.
Sorry.
So, and you're welcome to come up here and speak. I don't want to cut anyone off. It's just that it would help it be more orderly if you come up here and speak.
Did you sign in? Thank you.
On Armand Place, was the highway department notified about the condition?
I sent an email to the highway department, number one, about the condition of town property next to 108 Bradhurst that never gets maintained, and also about Armand Place being half gravel. They did come with, and did what appears to be like a quick drive over with a, I guess a large mower, and trimmed all of that, and that was it.
And just to get rid of one thing, I work with Chief Oliva, myself and Gary next to me here on the speed limit. It was 40 miles an hour out there. 2 of us personally, with Chief Oliva, got that to 30 miles an hour. In front of my house, they put up 4 chevrons 4 years ago. Since then, I haven't had 1 car in my yard. So things make a difference. Before that, I had 1 or 2 cars a year. I think there's 1 picture at least that was sent to you guys with the car was teeter-tottering on the bushes in the wall. 1 flew over my front yard, never touched the grass, landed in my driveway, marked it there today, and went in my neighbor's yard. Okay? The people at night, most of them, I imagine, drinking. They take off, they leave their car behind. It's really out of control. And I'm sorry if I come off a little passionate about it, but I've been there a long time. And the traffic is just getting worse and worse. And without me coming up there, 2 other things. They mentioned...
I got to ask you, out of respect for everybody else
All right, I'll go back up
that's
at the end.
getting up.
Announce your name, please.
My name is Eric Parker. I'm a resident for Armand Place. Been there 17 years. Proud to call it my home. Proud to call my neighbors, my friends, and my relatives They're really a family. And it's a shame what's going on. Because I work in IT security. I do physical security. And the backbone of my industry is transparency. I don't see any transparency here whatsoever. As a matter of fact, ironically, we live in the old Pooney house. And we loved the house. We thought it was a great house. And we wanted to honor that house because it was the builder's home. And we loved that neighborhood. Okay? Unfortunately now, we're hearing later on, last minute, about planning boards approving things, changing the laws for rezoning from 20 acres down to a coincidental number of 12 acres, which just so happens to be the size of the lot that they're asking to rezone. How about we consider rezoning the OB lots to residential and let them build whatever residential homes they want? But here's the other problem. Before we got to Ronald Court, the developer there wanted to build, I believe, condominiums or apartment buildings. They finally got to us at the last minute because of the problem with the water. Greenberg didn't want to handle it. They said, you're going to have new pipes put in, and they're going to do it. The builder came to us and said, we're going to give you new pipes. We're going to take care of all your needs with your plumbing. Funny, we didn't really have too much of a problem, and Greenberg was on call for it. So, are our pipes older? Yes. But what were we getting out of it? Instead of them building, 20 homes on that street, they wanted to put 200 units in, and we were getting new water. What's going to happen when they put in 2 new medical buildings, and Greenberg says, well, we're not going to handle the water for Valhalla anymore? Are we going to change that sign from the quiet little hamlet of Mount Pleasant of Valhalla to the new commercially zoned Valhalla? It's a shame what's going on here. It's a shame that this is even happening, because even for all of that, you're talking about 2 main roads here, Bradhurst and the one going up towards the spring. We've talked about the hospitals, we've talked about the cabin and the other businesses there. We're forgetting one major player in this as well, Westchester Community College. These students, these teachers, the professors, the admin staff, they all take these roads too. You know why? Because they have to get over to the highways. So they're either going straight up and getting onto the highway there, or they're going down through Lakeview and getting onto the highways over there. And it's intersecting our areas. And it's troublesome. And more, we're also seeing a lot of abandoned cars parking in our blocks, which are dead-end streets, because there's no room at the existing places. And then we have to go around, which we have very narrow streets to begin with, go around these cars that park right on the edge of Bradhurst and our streets, and then a car comes flying by because they're on the wrong side of the road, like I mentioned earlier. The traffic, number one, is the biggest portion. But the safety. How about ambulances trying to get to Westchester Medical Center on this 2-lane road? And it's not 2 lanes each way, it's 2 lanes. One going one way, one going the other. Police. Potholes. Like you said, you lost 2 tires there. My mother-in-law lost 2 tires on Lakeview. It was ridiculous. And they just can't get to it because there's no time to get to it because there's so much traffic on the roads. Forget about, God forbid, somebody even dying and then there's a funeral mass. That just compounds the whole issue right then and there. So, if I missed anything, I'm sorry, but I've been looking at this for 17 long years. It hasn't gotten any better. Putting in these 2 buildings and rezoning this is not going to make it better. It's going to compound it and make it exponentially worse. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to clarify again, nothing has been approved. The planning board did not approve anything. It was a review by the planning board. There was a recommendation to the town board. Nobody has approved anything here.
Recommendation on the zoning.
Yes.
That's it. Just on the zoning.
Right.
And this is the first public hearing to hear comment.
Yes.
And we didn't get a chance to comment on that about the rezoning law as well.
Well, that's what this is.
No, I was talking about when it went from 20 acres to 12 acres.
Hasn't happened yet.
The OB5 amendment
On July 9th.
On July 9th.
Changed the zoning law from 20 acres to 12 acres, which allows you to consider this rezoning.
As you
Prior to
said,
that, it wouldn't allow it.
as you said, we're considering it. We're not
Okay.
approving anything. Anyone else like to speak that hasn't spoken yet? Yes, sir.
Ken Noonan, Valhalla. Aside from your notice being minimal, it was inaccurate. The notice you published indicated a one parcel, lot number 6.
This is a notice on the website, you mean?
On the website, yeah. And in fact, there's 3 parcels, and which was just announced this evening. I don't think it's very fair to the public that you didn't notify us properly. But it seems like this is the largest parcel down here, which is R20, and then 2 smaller parcels up here. And part of one of the smaller parcels is in the OB6 zone. So my first question is, at what point does a proposal like this become spot zoning? That you're changing the zoning of this big piece here to match this OB6, this little piece of OB6 that's up here. At what point is that spot zoning?
I don't believe that it's spot zoning, because what we're asking is that the existing OB6 be extended further west toward Bradhurst Avenue. Spot zoning is where there's a whole area that's zoned, let's say, for residential use, and plunk in the middle of that area, the town board decides to rezone it an OB use or a commercial use or an industrial use, then it's spot zoning. But here we're just asking that the boundary of the OB6 zone be extended further westward towards Bradhurst Avenue. So it's certainly not spot zoning.
Yeah, but that R20 zone is surrounded by other residential zones, and you're wanting to plunk right in the middle of it, the OB6. That seems to me to be spot zoning.
That's the existing OB6.
But
Extension of that.
well, I personally think that's spot zoning, what you're asking to do there, and I would be very much against it on that basis. The second question I have is there some reason why this cannot be developed as residential? Is there something about the...
No.
Because in line with what the gentleman said before, there was an article in the Examiner that said, Supervisor Carl Fulgenzi said having an R20 district next to OB6 zone land did not make sense. Officials do not want housing to come to the R20 portion of the developer's property. That's what was reported that you said.
It was not exactly what I said, but it's close.
Oh. So there's no reason...
I was going by the comments from the planning board that they didn't think that residential would be a good use there. That was strictly a planning board opinion. So
but there's no reason why
there's
that...
facts, nothing's been decided here. There's nothing factual.
First of all,
Done deal.
I think it's important to note the proposal from the landowner is not for residential. We can only consider what's being proposed. So maybe your question should be to the developer if they would want to consider residential.
No, I just wondered whether there was some reason why...
Not from our standpoint, it hasn't been proposed to us.
No, there's no reason why there's no reason why you couldn't have another Armand Place there or Thomas?
Other than having to rezone the OB portion if that was looking to be a part of it.
And finally, one comment from the zoning board, the planning board, excuse me. The last comment here, more dispersed development of single-family homes on the site, allowable under the existing R20 zoning, may in fact result in greater environmental impacts than those resulting from the development under the OB zoning. Now, I'm not the sharpest pencil in the box, but I don't know how this planning board came up with this, that a commercial development like 2 medical center office buildings with parking for over 400 cars can be a less of an environmental impact than a sleepy bedroom community like Armand Place or Thomas Place. That boggles my mind that the planning board could make that kind of a suggestion, and I sincerely hope that you don't follow it. Thank you.
Let me clarify one thing, I think, just so the audience understands. The OB5 change last month has nothing to do with this. The OB5 is only the Zeiss property and the Generon's property.
That is correct.
This is an OB6 zone. The minimum acreage now is 10 acres in the OB6. So the OB5 is not the uses for the zoning for this property at all. Just to clarify for everyone. So what happened then? It was probably the Zeiss property was zoned improperly years ago. So we cleaned that up to make that property legal.
That is
we're
correct.
the only OB5 zone in the 10. So
Anyone else like to address the board? Would you like to come back up? Did you want to come back up?
No, I just have a question.
I'm going to come back.
I want everybody to be able to hear you.
Oh, they can hear me, trust me. They don't know me.
Be on the air, though.
I just have a quick question for you, sir. In the beginning, you said the planning board approved something?
The planning board cannot approve a zone change. The only board that can approve the zone change is the town board. But under the zoning code, any application for rezoning goes to the planning board first, and they give a recommendation to the town board.
Okay, because you did say they approved something in the beginning, and that's why I got a little confused.
Their recommendation was the property should be rezoned from R20 to OB6.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else like to address the board?
I just want to come up with that.
You know, in their presentation, they used Blightdale as the reason for them to be able to come across the street, because Blightdale's right there. Blightdale's been there since 1928, okay? Way before the neighborhood has been there. And they got 300 parking with valet parking. So they overpark, like they said. When they overflow, they park in the neighborhood. 19 Bradhurst, 700 parking spaces. This development, 400 parking spaces. All valet parking too, so that's way more than what they're expecting to have. Now, how many acres is the Bosco property? Because if this does get developed, they might see a gold mine saying, we're going to put 2 more buildings in the Bosco property, because that's got to be at least 12 acres. You got another property on Grasslands Road that's over 10 acres, 236 Grasslands Road. That's another medical building that's going in there that nobody's we haven't heard about. So those are the other 2 points. I'm sure I might think of something before I sit down again. Thank you.
You're welcome. I want the people at home to be able to hear.
Just a simple question. How many years has this project been?
This project, I think we just started talking about this in the fall of last year.
November 8th, 2018.
Yeah.
Okay, anything?
This is not we haven't been talking about this property we've been talking about, I can recall 10, 15 years. It's been
Right,
a discussion
general
about
discussions.
what might happen there.
Has have you ever been presented with plans for R20 zoning?
No. Not since I've been here, no. Sure.
I'd just like to make one final comment. If the project does get approved, I sure hope that the state, and I know it's above the town, really examines the intersection, 100 and Lakehurst, traffic signals, sign, everything. I mean, that has to be totally redesigned. So I sure hope New York State DOT is a part of this process before final approval for reconfiguration there. It's not the town. It's not the town engineer. Believe me, I know that. But I sure hope the state has a big part in this for the improvement of that intersection. We all need it. I can't even imagine with the cemeteries. I can't begin to think the traffic and the cemeteries. It boggles my mind. Thank you.
Can we throw in West Help on top of that?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, Joel Sachs, again on behalf of Bradhurst Realty. I want to mention first to the audience who's here tonight, we really did come here to listen to your concerns and your views, and we certainly will take those into account as we move forward. We've also received copies of letters that have been sent to the board, and what we would like to do really is take all these issues into account and put everything on hold for a few months and try to come up with some plan that is acceptable to the town board, the planning board, and to the neighborhood.
That's fair.
Okay, thank you.
Well, if there is no more comments, then maybe we just table this until further date.
The only thing I would like to add, Mr. Supervisor, is that we take it very seriously. People say that we have not noticed the public. So I just pulled up on my screen here. We did notice the public on July 10th, 2019 at 3:57 p.m. That's when it went up on the town website. So I would urge everyone to look on the town website and see what's there. And to Mr. Noonan's point, it was 12.4 acres located in two zoning districts, R20 and OB6, to a single zoning district labeled as OB6. So therefore, it was 12.4 acres in two different zones being labeled perhaps as OB6. Now, nothing has been done, but I do take issue with what Mr. Noonan said, and I want everyone in this room to know that this board and this supervisor, we do everything possibly that we can do to inform you of what's going on. We are accessible, you know that, via phone, via email. You are allowed to come to work sessions. There's no interaction between the public and the board at that time, and this is your forum. We sit here and we do listen, and we know what's going on in our town. So thank you all for coming.
It's probably worth mentioning that anytime a public notice is put on the web, first of all, the law requires that a local newspaper notice the public notices, which I think everyone might agree that's a bit obsolete and antiquated. So the town has always taken an extra step to put them on the website. But also, every time a public notice goes on the website, it also gets emailed out to those who subscribe to town alerts and emails. Now, be careful, because there are a lot of different things you can subscribe to on the website. Make sure that you put yourself down and check off the box for as many things as possible, because public notices come under town information. So if you're checked off for subscribing to recreation information or planning board agendas or zoning board agendas, that may not include town information. So it's a good idea to go on the website and subscribe to those emails. That's an additional notice that we do that we're not obligated to. We all live here. We've all experienced these things. Myself, very recently, with a development right behind my house. So I understand the concern and the urge to want to know information, and I understand the way you feel. But please know that we are trying to notice it well beyond what's required by law. So I know it doesn't feel like a lot, though.
Just for what do you call it, I reached out to everybody sitting up there in front of me, and and only 3 of you, and you know who you are, called me back. And I didn't call once, I didn't call twice, some of you called 4 times, and portaled you. And I'm still waiting for calls back. I guess this is my call back. Just saying, you said you're here listening, you know, call back. I called you, you don't call back.
If I'm
Sorry,
not.
you don't.
Since you brought up about the notification that you give us, I know for a fact that when I was looking to do an extension on my home, I had to notify everyone with return receipt, certified letter. I had to send it to all my neighbors so they know what's going on. And our
That
neighbor
would
across
happen.
the street was putting a shed
In the
in front of
DEIS
his
process,
home.
that would happen.
And he did the same. I got a letter in the mail that he's putting a shed in front of his home. Put a shed in front of your home. But I got a return receipt. I had to sign it and send
That's
it back. I didn't receive that from you.
That doesn't occur for the zoning issue, but it would occur for the planning board process. That's what happened with me too, same issue.
State law requires it. Yeah. For variance. You probably were building outside of your buildable.
Coonies should have sent us notification about this.
I got a question. Short and sweet. I guess we were looking to get a traffic study going for Greenberg and probably go to present it to Finer. Who could be the counterpart here at Mount Pleasant to help us with something along those lines? Because not even for this project necessarily, but for just the general area already with what's happening? Is there anybody we
Well,
could
we
direct
could
me
ask
to?
the state to look at it and do a traffic study. I don't know if they have done anything at this point. It doesn't appear like they did. But I would welcome that kind of a study.
Just for Bradhurst or
No, I'm just talking in general.
a general traffic
For even-
study?
even like-
You have to be more specific. Like,
Further down, like grassland /
So you're thinking like Bradhurst, Grasslands,
Yeah,
Knollwood
that
Road.
intersection.
No, yeah, the whole
I live right
Knollwood,
there.
where the
It's-
cabin is, yeah, okay.
The deli is a nightmare there, the parking.
So the question is, how can we all petition the state to do that? Because they're the responsible entity for that
Correct, and that's
intersection.
what, I have a lot of people in my community that'll email me that have been really pushing for this, the amount of truck traffic we're getting in our, people parking and eating lunch, like, I get that, people have to, the landscapers, but just the mass volume that we're dealing with, people have been really pushing me to take the next step to do some sort of traffic study and make the next step, so guess I'm looking for help in that regards,
I'll
even
ask,
if it is in regards to this.
I'll ask our town engineer if there's an avenue we could use to get some kind of a study done on that road.
Can I ask you, Mr. Johnson, has Greenberg been receptive to your calls? Have you heard anything
Yeah,
from
we've dealt
them?
with Finer, and he's pretty receptive to it. We're
Okay.
still just in the early statements of really trying to push this. It's been something that's just come up of late,
Okay,
so,
because you mentioned you're co-president of Mayfair Knollwood, and that
Yeah.
falls in Greenberg.
yeah, correct.
Okay.
With Marie Smith, who couldn't be here tonight.
We could check too. I think as part of North 60, they're studying the intersection of Bradhurst and Grasslands.
Yeah, they are.
Double check that intersection, but that intersection at least will be being studied. I'm almost positive.
Yes, not well enough. So-
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what other, I think there's 35 intersections or something.
I guess ultimately, what I'm looking for is a point of contact.
Yeah, I think the town engineer, David Smith, is
Yeah,
someone who
probably
would be.
would be
yeah.
Thank you.
the best person to.
You know, reiterate on it. It's got to be looked at, but not just expansion. If we build these roads bigger, Bradhurst, Knollwood, Grassland, it's just going to bring more people into that neighborhood because everybody's going to look for the less crowded route. You know, they almost have to work on 9A and maybe even opening the Sprain up for the North 60, and that's a whole other meeting for commercial from the 287 up to that development. But you can't just come in, because some people were throwing out there, well, just expand this and expand that. You can't just come in and expand.
The infrastructure we have,
Bradhurst,
we have here for the local roads is not enough for what we have already.
Yeah,
And on top of this and add all this other stuff.
But something
That's
you
what I'm
can't just
interested in.
expand the
I
road.
understand that.
We can't have the back and forth. But what I will suggest is, for safety reasons alone, look at those roads. What we have here right now, look at those roads for the safety reasons that we're talking about. Whatever happens down the road, we don't know. But let's look at the roads right now. That's what I'll recommend to our town engineer, to find out what avenue, who would he talk to find out if they will initiate this kind of a study.
Thank you.
I just have a question. Can I ask from here?
Sure, go ahead.
So 100 is a state road, and Grasslands is a county road?
That's state too, I
I think it's state.
That's state also.
It's not positive.
think it is.
What is Lakeview? Who's the jurisdiction on that?
That's town.
That's town.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, the major arteries are usually state or county, and the Armand Place, the smaller roads are town roads.
I just wasn't sure.
Unless you're in a village, which Valhalla is not.
We appreciate all of your comments. It's important for us to get your thoughts and feelings. We have kept every comment that's come through to us by phone and by email. I would suggest to the town board that we table this, and we're not going to move forward on this project. It's something that we're going to digest. Maybe the developer will come back with us with other ideas. So at this point, I'd like to ask the board if we can get a motion to table this project.
I'd like to move that we table the project at this point. Thank you.
Second it?
Motion by Ms. Molly, second by Ms. Hagedis. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Can I speak on a different issue?
We have business from the floor that'll be coming up eventually.
I did sign up for a different issue. It's a leaf blower issue.
There's a part of the meeting that'll let you do that. It's just not right now.
We'll take a 5-minute break.
Thanks.
got 1 minute.
Okay.
We can move on to the supervisor's report. Next item is to call for a public hearing to form a Mount Pleasant drainage district. A couple of years ago, we had a problem with the Bear Ridge Lake in Pleasantville. We had to dredge it. And my thinking back then was, well, everything that drains into Bear Ridge Lake should have some responsibility to the dredging of that lake. So I thought we should just charge it to the drainage district. To my surprise, we don't have any drainage districts in the town of Mount Pleasant. This public hearing that we're going to schedule is to create a town-wide drainage district that would share the cost of all the drainage work that we do throughout the town. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars more recently than in the past because our drainage system is decaying. A lot of it's very old. A lot of it is galvanized pipe. A lot of the bottoms of these galvanized pipes are rotted out. So in order to help defray some of this cost without bonding these projects, by creating a drainage district, it gives us an avenue to spread out the cost amongst all of us. So I'd like to schedule a public hearing. What would be a good date?
You want to do the next meeting would be September 10th?
September 10th. Need a motion to plan a public hearing for the Mount Pleasant Drainage District on September 10th.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo.
I'd like to second that. I think this is a terrific idea, and I applaud the supervisor for coming up with this.
Thank you. It's not going to get any points, Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I wasn't trying to.
Motion carried. Thank you. Next item is schedule a public hearing to enter into contracts with all fire protection districts throughout the town of Mount Pleasant. We do this every year. There are agreements between the fire districts, who protects what areas, and how the cost is shared. So I'd like to schedule for September 10th also.
That would be fine.
Okay.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is call for a public hearing to amend Town Code 84-1, prohibition of sale of commercially bred dogs and cats in pet stores. This is near and dear to my heart. My wife is into rescue, and this issue came up a few years ago. The wording on it just came out, and it was challenged, so we're trying to change the wording on it so it's very clear that we do not allow pet stores in the town of Mount Pleasant. We don't have any right now anyway, but if we do get a pet store in town, they cannot sell dogs from puppy mills, especially puppy mills, in a pet shop in the town of Mount Pleasant. We recommend people going to rescues, or you can also go to a private breeder if you wish. So on September 10th,
Yes,
we
that's
could do that
fine.
also. We will amend, this is local law, it was number 4-216. We would amend that on September 10th. Need a motion on that?
So moved, please?
Motion by Ms. Hagedis,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is a simpler issue, block party permits. We have 5 requests. First one, Darren Carew, Wyoming Place between Manhattan Avenue and Sherman Avenue, Saturday, September 14th from 3 to 9 p.m. Rain date, Sunday, September 15th, same time. Rachel Benz, Broad Street between Memorial Drive and Brookline, Sunday, October 13th, 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Rain date, Monday, October 14th, same time. Next one, Bruce Johnson, Allen Street at Fountain Drive intersection, Saturday, September 14th, 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. Rain date, September 15th, same time. Jonathan Batista, Greenwood Lane between number 28 and number 30, Sunday, October 13th from 1 to 10 p.m. and known rain date. Margie Lane, Warren Avenue between Frankfurt Street and Lexington Avenue, Saturday, September 28th, from 2 p.m. to midnight, with no rain date. I would ask for approval of these parties.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo.
Second.
Second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The police and the highway department will be notified about those dates. Next item is enter into a lease agreement with the Pleasantville Ambulance Corps. The Pleasantville Ambulance Corps has been using the property. It was the old Thornwood Water District property in Thornwood. This just will re-enter a new lease agreement with the Pleasantville Ambulance Corps. I believe it's $1 a year. I believe that's what the
Yes.
agreement is. And they do a wonderful job protecting our community. So this is just a renewal of their lease.
I'd like to make a motion of approval for renewal of the lease for the Pleasantville Ambulance Corps and just say thank you for their hard work.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
I'd like to second that. Thank you.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is purchase order number 162-1915. This is for an ICC review for the JCCA Cottage number 9. I believe this was the one that had burnt down.
Yes.
This is to build a new one. Total cost is $2,385 for the review. Total cost of the job is $4 million. The permit fee is $60,090.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization for the town to manage abandoned properties. From time to time, we have properties that are abandoned, whether it's through foreclosure or whatever. The properties become unsafe. The grass becomes really high, becomes a fire hazard. So this resolution allows the town to hire someone to go in, clean the property, and charge it to the property, the taxes. So the town gets the money back eventually, but it's a process that we have to go through to keep the property safe. So Resolution 435 will authorize the town to manage the abandoned properties.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Hagedis,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, purchase order 830-19-20, milling for Old Kensico Road, Deerfield Lane, and Laurel Lane for water main projects.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Ms. Hagedis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. In relation to the above, purchase order number 830-1921, it's paving for those three roads, Old Kensico Road, Deerfield Lane North,
God bless.
and Laurel Lane. This is all related to water main projects.
And these were all bonded, right?
Yes, they are.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Excuse me. Authorization to sign snow and ice index lump sum contracts. Payment factor adjustment, Amendment B for the winter of 2016 and 17. Takes a couple of years for this adjustment to go through. What they do is they analyze how the roads were handled, the amount of snow that had to be removed and ice, and then they adjust the amount of money that the town gets from the state. So this resolution will approve that adjustment factor.
And the total adjustment is $8,934.94. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
I'd like to go ahead and move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Ms. Hagedis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to award the contract for Whittier Drive Storm Sewer Rehabilitation. Total cost of this job is $429,600. This work will complete the stormwater bypass system to prevent sediment buildup in the Carroll Park, which will allow us to further improvements to the pond once this work is done. what's happening is a lot of the sediment is just washing into the pond, and makes it us unable to keep that clean. This will bypass the pond, will alleviate any water backing up into the Whittier Drive area, and help resolve some of those issues over there.
Yeah, this is a huge improvement for the area of Whittier because it creates good flow for their stormwater, but it's an even better improvement for Carroll Park because, as the supervisor said, it prevents the sediment from building up in the pond. And that's what you see now when you go down there, unfortunately, right now, is there's a lot of sediment, which has brought the ground up, and unfortunately some weeds and growth go with that. So it's a little unsightly at the moment, but this is the first step in creating a remedy there, and it's a big improvement, so I'm glad to move it along. And if you're asking for a motion, I would be happy to move.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo.
Second.
Second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The contractor that was the low bidder on this was R. Pooney and Sons. Let's see, moving on. Authorization to go out to bid for caustic soda delivery. This is for our water treatment. Let's see what we got. This is from David Smith, our engineer. Bid openings would be 8/28/19. We do this annually to get the right price for caustic soda. And this is for treatment at the Canico filter site.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo.
Second.
Second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next two items are adjustments to county tax bills. The first one is a correction. Cancel the above tax bill to county tax bill. This parcel was acquired by the state of New York, and so it's no longer taxable. Let's see what the adjustment here is. Okay, I can't get it to come up. Do you have that tax bill?
Yeah.
All right, I do. I have it up.
Doesn't say much.
They usually show an
Bedford
adjustment.
Road, the parcel's 89/111.8-1-8 on Bedford Road.
Yeah, if you,
I don't know what the corrected amount was.
Doesn't say.
It's just a matter of correcting the tax bill.
the amount of
wait,
taxes
yeah.
currently billed is $383.42.
Yes.
Yeah, there it is. yeah.
Yes, and this came from Mary Beth Murphy, the executive director in the county for taxes. Okay.
All right, so that resolution 441 will correct that tax bill?
Yeah.
And any resolution on, motion on that?
Yeah.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo.
Second.
Second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next one is also the same thing. I don't know if the amounts are different. Probably is.
A refund of $599.18, it says.
Okay. So that's authorization to correct that town tax bill.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Hagedis.
Second.
Second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization for the Receiver of Taxes Department to enter into an agreement with Elevon. This agreement here is, as you know, we've been trying to work towards getting credit card process for most of our departments. The tax department, we've had a lot of requests from residents to accept credit cards. This is the beginning state of getting to that point where we were hoping to get it online before the September collection. I don't know if we're going to get there, but this resolution will move on. The town attorney has reviewed the agreement, so this will move us forward on that agreement with Elevon.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to hire a part-time assistant for the Assessor's Department effective July 15, 2019.
Move to approve, please.
I just want to see if we have any other information on this first.
$12 an hour, it says.
Rate of $12 an hour.
And I move to approve, please.
Motion by Ms. Hagedis,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is appointment of Susan Pekowitz, hope I said that right, to the assessment clerk in the Assessor's Department effective August 14, 2019, salary as per CSEA contract.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to reappoint James Timmings as the assessor for the town of Mount Pleasant, effective September 1st, 2019, salary as per the new 2019 budget.
Make the motion for approval, and James is doing a great job. He's an excellent employee, and love to nominate him.
Well
Motion
said,
by
Tom.
Mr. Saliano,
I'll second that, okay, Tom?
Thanks.
second by Ms.
Okay.
Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Reassign senior office assistant in the Recreation Department to Group 8 effective July 18, 2019, per CSEA contract and memorandum of agreement.
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion in regard to this. It's been an issue that's been long-standing, and I'm glad it's finally come to resolution. Thank you.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to suspend a parks groundskeeper effective immediately and for a period not to exceed 30 days. This is a confidential personnel issue, so we do not disclose the names. The next step would be going into a discussion with this employee and civil service and our labor attorney to find out a solution to this. Hopefully, we can find some common ground and move on from this. I need a resolution to move forward.
Move to approve, please.
Motion by Ms. Hagedis,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to close Town Hall on Friday, September 6, 2019 for 2019 Records Management Day.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second. Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I have the receiver of taxes report. On the investment report, the current rate of interest is 2%. The current CD rate interest is 2.35%.
We're going up.
Couple notes. As you unfortunately have to be aware, September school tax bills will be mailed out the last week of August. The first installment will be due by 9/30. The second part of that school tax payment would be January 31st, 2020. And anybody who has an interest in the Columbus Avenue wall that we've been discussing for a while, in doing some research, I found out that according to the county charter, the wall is within the county's responsibility.
Wow.
We have notified the county of this, and we're waiting for an update from them.
Wow.
At this time, we have business from the floor. Anyone who wishes to address the board can do so.
Greetings. My name is Susan Anks.
Did you sign in?
Yeah, I did.
Thank you.
I was here about a month ago to discuss leaf blowers. Can I turn this? I live in a small hamlet, Picandico Hills. That's my mom and my neighbors. And I think I spoke to you about April 3rd. I was in the yard having this very mindful moment with my dogs, ready to start my yard work. And 7 leaf blowers, 5 blowers, industrial strength blowers, and 2 ancient mowers came next door and worked for 3 hours to do their so-called spring cleaning. Well, it propelled me to speak to you, to write letters, to talk to my community, and also we started a business called Unicorn Lawn. I spent less than $1,000 on electric equipment, and I haven't even advertised. My neighbor over there made a little website. Their mother told me about an event that was put on by Westchester Federation of Conservationists. Is that what they call themselves? They have a cumbersome name. And I went over there, and they had pollinator pathways, and green education. Bedford 2020 was there. It was an amazing group of people over at that bar, Captain Lawrence. And so I spoke a little bit, and then we got a call. A woman down in Phillips Manor wanted us to come and do her lawn. Okay, great. She's representing 2 garden clubs. They want electric equipment, and she's so happy that Sleepy Hollow has banned them for the summer. We're like wondering, why don't landscape companies go electric? Yes, there's some cost to it, yes, but that's what the public wants. So you have a 62-year-old woman and a couple of young men in the neighborhood mowing lawns now for, pretty decent money. I'm not in it for the money, I'm in it to turn things around. I was talking to somebody on the Rockefeller Preserve trails about leaf blowers. I talked to a lot of people, so what do you think about leaf blowers? Washington, D.C. recently banned them completely. There was an article in the Atlantic a couple of months ago about they banned it completely. Cities all throughout California, Huntington, New York, Southampton, New York, they're limiting them or banning them completely because of the noise and the pollution. So I talked to this woman. She goes, "You got to call my cousin, Dan Mabe. He started. He was a landscaper. He started a company called the American Green Zone Alliance, and he's affiliated with Quiet Communities, a group in Massachusetts. And they create these green zones. They train municipalities to go electric, and they sent me this proposal that I brought for you to look at. So I'm not gonna. You guys just went under some intense scrutiny, man. That gave me chest pains listening to that, but very exciting. So I'm just gonna leave this with you, and I will email you their website. I tried to print things off their website at the library with my secretary over there today, but it didn't work. But please take a look at this. I know, what is our green initiative called? Mount Pleasant? Has it Go Green or something?
It's not an official name, but we've been tagging it
Go
that
Green?
way.
Okay. I mean, this would be profound if we could
Thank you, Susan.
go in this direction. You know, nobody likes leaf blowers, even the people that use them don't like them. So, and the towns and cities in California, 23 of them that have banned them completely, had to fight the landscapers who want the electric or the gas-powered blowers, because that's what they have, reported that there were no problem. The landscapers didn't have any problems with losing business or money when things had to go electric. So I'm all for small business, but it's better for the workers. It's better for the people that are using these machines to go electric or give us a break and use a rake. So thank you very much.
Thank
So
you.
a question, do you know, I was looking into this, are the electric blowers quieter than the gas ones?
Yes, and much cleaner.
I understand that,
Yes.
I'm just wondering if they were quieter.
Yeah, I prefer a broom and a rake. I mean, the exercise. One of my slogans is "Your yard is my gym." It's a great workout.
If I was 30 years younger, I would probably agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I would
Right
say
now.
your wife would. Think about the noise, how it affects the wildlife, the birds and the bees and the butterflies and the dogs.
Yep.
New science has shown that flowers can't listen. When they hear bees buzzing around, they generate sweeter nectar. So and birds, they've shown that they can't find their mate when the noise from the landscapers is coming around. So as a society, we're learning more and more about noise pollution and what it does to our body, our minds, our souls, and the people and animals that share this planet with us. So I think it would be great if we could turn Mount Pleasant into a green zone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to address the board?
I'd like to know what is going on with the Grasslands property, 236. There's been talk and what's going on with the districts between Mount Pleasant and Valhalla for water district there.
We had signed an IMA with Greenberg to move forward with that water main project. It was going on, I think it was over 5 or 6 years. We worked on that
Yes, we
IMA with
did,
Greenberg.
yeah.
We finally have an agreement with Greenberg for them to allow us to connect to them to service that area. There's a proposal for assisted living. Is that assisted
Yeah, I
living?
think there's 70 houses there. Greenberg supplies the water. Westchester County Department of Health required an IMA for it. We entered into the IMA, it was approved by this board. There's a lot of nuances if things happen. If the project goes forward, it's at the planning board now for a zone request change. It was referred to the planning board for a recommendation. It'll eventually come back to this board similar to earlier today. But the IMA has been signed. If the project goes forward, a lot of infrastructure will get built by the assisted living facility proprietor. If the facility does not go forward, my recollection is that there's a possibility that there could be some improvements paid for by the district if that's what happens, or it stays like it is. And Greenberg will still supply the water, but it will eventually become a town of Mount Pleasant water district.
But by having it in a district, it would be a lower rate than
Yeah,
buying it from Greenberg.
Yeah, so like I've been dealing with since back in Bob Meehan days with this. I've been there, like I said, almost 3 decades, trying to get, I'm one of the first homes on the well there, and I've been trying with everybody to try to get something going. Bob Meehan, Joe Mayberry, I reached out to yourself, and then I called just recently and heard from the engineering that what's happening with the zoning change, and that they would be the first phase, which I don't agree with. If you're going to give them a zoning change and it's supposed to benefit the neighborhood for that zoning change, the homeowners that have been there the longest shouldn't wait the longest to get the water in. You know, at a good faith, they should almost start from, and them mains are straight run mains. I know a lot about water mains and things. There's no redundancy, there's no loops in that system. It's a straight main. If there's a main break on Armand Place, Lisa Lane, or even Thomas Place, it comes through Scarlick, nobody down the road will have water. Fire is a problem if you talk to all the fire departments. For this fact, when Blightdale, I thought, well, this is slam dunk. When Blightdale was coming in and doing all their expansions, this is the time where they're going to do this infrastructure here and take care of it, and we would get a main in front of my property up to where Ronald Court is, and they put a main in where he wasn't even supposed to on that property. There's a main underground that's not even supposed to be there at this point. You know, I was told, well, they're going to, if this gets done, they're going to hook up the developer, then Ronald Court, then the 4 homes that I'm present one of. And my feelings are, if we do this, the 4 homes that are there might not ever get water.
No, that's not true.
Well, I'm just saying it could be true.
Once the infrastructure is in there, the people that sign into the district will have the ability to connect as soon as they want.
But then, like the gentleman said here, that we're trying to get the developer to pay for the cost of this.
Right.
If they're going to get what they want in the first phase, and the second phase, all of a sudden, developer like, I have no more money for the main on Bradhurst. So we have to get some insurances from them that this is going to get done. You know, if I have to wait a little longer, I'd rather be first than last because I've been there longer.
The project is contingent on the water.
I think you said that, sorry.
The project can't happen without the water.
Yeah, without a doubt, I agree, you know, but I don't think, and I think what he said was that the developer is going to try to cover the infrastructure costs of the...
If they get an approval, if they get a zone change, if they get an approval, they will be required...
Required, okay.
To prepare the infrastructure. I think it's 71 homes. How the layout will happen in terms of when the main and when the connections happen. I haven't seen a plan, so I wouldn't have said that
you know,
they
maybe
would
that's
be
what I
building
thought.
first. So I haven't even seen. I wouldn't be even
Yeah,
able to tell you.
but I thought that's what, you know.
I mean,
But
they may do yours first, and that may be something you
well,
can bring up. 'cause it's
no,
not site
you
plan
didn't say that. That's what the engineering department was. I was told that there would be a phase 1. That would be the developer Ronald Court, because that's all the Greco family property.
There may be.
You know, and then phase 2. So my fear is we give them a zoning change on a property that I thought that if we gave a zoning change for a property, it'd be good for the good of the community for a reason. And I think this would be a good reason. There needs to be a water district in that neighborhood, you know, just for fire protection.
Yeah, that's all part of
And I was one of the ones when they did Ronald Court and they put the illegal hydrants there, they didn't even have them covered. There was no water there. I had to get somebody out there to bag and tag those hydrants because God forbid there was an accident there and you have a volunteer fire guy come along, he don't know, you know, what every hydrant is. And then somebody wastes time, somebody could be, who knows, you know, house burning, an accident, and these hydrants on Ronald Court are not hooked to nothing, you know. So they finally covered them years ago. So thank you for your time. I, you know, just want to worry about the people that have been there the longest and getting the water that we've been trying to get, you know, for a long time.
Well, as I recall, it's been over 5 years that I've been involved with. I was involved with the prior supervisor trying to get this moved forward also.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I dealt with it with Joe Mayberry, and then when Bob Meehan was here, all the way back there, I had a meeting in his office easy over 20 years ago, you know. So this has been going on a long time, and it's been hung up between the 2 towns for a long time, you know. And a lot of development went on there, and thinking that Ronald Court, you know, something should have been done there with having them drill 9 wells, you know.
Well, Greenberg did not want to provide the water at the time. Now we have an IMA with Greenberg, and we will be moving forward with it.
All right. No, thank you.
You're welcome. Next.
Ken Noonan, Valhalla. You have an item coming up on the agenda regarding police dress uniforms, but there was very little detail except for the price. It was in excess of $8,000. Can you tell me what kind of uniforms these are? And
Well, I did clarify that they're not actually dresses, but they are dress uniforms. That's one thing I got out of it.
Dress uniforms, right.
The term dress uniform with respect to civil service, this means the uniform they wear for parades and funerals and things of that nature. So that's their best, you know, uniform clothing.
Do they currently have dress uniforms, and these are replacements, or is this?
They're trying to standardize all the uniforms, so everyone has the same uniforms, and we see some drug money, so it's going to be paid for by a Caesar. by the drug money that we seized. So it's no cost to the town, but it's going to keep all the uniforms uniform for all the men and women of the police department.
Do you know how many uniforms are involved and the price per uniform? I'm asking because I'm in this business.
There's no cost to the taxpayer. This is
No, I know. You already said that, but do you know how much each uniform is? And
I know the total price is $8,728.50.
yeah, I know. I found that out when I looked at that. Yeah. But do you know any more?
You'd probably get a rough estimate by dividing it by the number of police
by the number of
officers.
officers divided by the price.
I don't know. How many police officers do you have?
About
45? 46?
46?
I'm sure the police department can give you more details if you like.
And the drug money, where does that go if it's not used for uniforms?
We use for any purpose for the police department or public safety.
But does it come into the town fund or just?
It's not a general fund.
How's it managed? The police department?
Any expenditure of that money has to be approved by the town board.
But where is it kept, the money?
And the controller's office has a separate fund. They separate that from everything else. Has to be accounted for. The state has to know about it. Everybody has to know how much is there and keep a record of it.
The second question I have is the comprehensive plan. Am I understanding correctly that nothing's been decided regarding the comprehensive plan?
What do you mean?
Nothing's been voted on?
We haven't finished the plan.
You haven't finished it? Nothing's really been decided? And nothing's
it's not
been
public yet.
Nothing public?
No.
It seems to me that certain developers have access to this board and to Mr. Cleary to discuss their proposed developments or developments that they're in light of the comprehensive plan. And I just wondered, how is that happening if this comprehensive plan hasn't been finalized yet?
Any developer that has a meeting with Mr. Cleary has to pay Mr. Cleary for that guidance. It's not the town's taxpayers are not paying for the advice that a developer gets from Mr. Cleary.
But my question is, how is Mr. Cleary giving advice about in light of the comprehensive plan when the comprehensive plan hasn't been finalized?
He's only giving advice based on existing zoning regulations, not on what it may be.
And it's public record what feedback the public is given on the comp plan. So you can share that in further detail.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
public
that
record.
I understand that's public, but it seems to me that he's giving information regarding what the comprehensive plan is going to be, and it hasn't been finalized yet, no?
I mean, not that I've seen, but
How would you assume that?
Just the conversations that I've heard.
Is that really factual, though? Is it really factual that Mr. Cleary
Well, that's why I'm
did
asking
give
the
that?
question. I don't know.
What we're saying to you is that Mr. Cleary is the town planner,
Mhm.
and he does work with developers. That's part of his job.
Mhm.
And he will tell them what is currently zoned, and he will advise them on what is currently zoned. There's been no changes following the comprehensive plan because we haven't adopted it yet as a town board.
Well, as I said, I'm just going by conversations at the work sessions and elsewhere where I've heard the comprehensive plan mentioned.
Well, conversations can also be repeated in different ways. They can also be hearsay. We only deal with things that are given to us officially, and that's when we'll know what the comprehensive plan will be.
Mhm.
We'll adopt it and then share it with the public.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else like to address the board?
Laura Senti, Valhalla. At the last work session, you had a presentation by the Kensico Little League regarding lights at the Pat Henry Field. And I'd like to know what the process is from the board, if you were to go ahead with this, whether you're going to get public input on it, what's the procedure. I know that at that time you said that you would discuss it, but I'd like to know if you should go ahead with it, or if you're going to have any type of public hearing or public comment on it.
Eventually, when we decide to move forward with the public input, it would be a public hearing.
Okay, and is your decision final, or is then the county have, how does the county play into that?
The county has to be part of the decision. Historically, the county would pretty much agree with whatever the town wanted to do.
I think the lease agreement reads that the town would be the petitioner, meaning that making the request, and that the county, in particular the Parks and Recreation Superintendent at the county level, would have the approval.
Okay, but you, first then as a board, would have a public hearing so that if there's public input...
I'm not certain about a public hearing.
Not an official public hearing, but it would be public input.
Please know that we lease the property from the county. The county has the last say when it comes to this. It's a county park.
No, I understand that, but when would you get the input from the residents down there? Is basically what I'm asking you. Are you going to have a hearing, are you going to notice it, or is that done at the county level?
Right now, we're in receipt of a lot of feedback from down there. However, you know, I don't know what you're exactly asking. Are you asking if we're going to have a public hearing?
Yeah, what I'm asking is it going to be under the supervisor's agenda and you're just going to vote on it and then the public doesn't speak about it without any notice? Or if the public does want to speak about it, do they need to come to the next board meeting to discuss it with you folks?
I guess that might be a legal question. Do we have to publicly notice that by law?
You don't, but if you wanted, I mean, you could give your opinion now and the board could listen to it, or if you want to get, you know, you can send out a mailer, what does the neighborhood think? You can do a bunch of things depending on when you want to listen, you know, potentially vote on it or not. You may not, you don't necessarily have to vote on it, you can just not address it, or you could consider it, and you can ask people to make a public comment.
I guess when we get to a point where we want to make some kind of a decision on it, we would probably want to have a public discussion on it.
We actually
did. The town
did.
board can decide.
You can do it under your report, Mr. Supervisor, and have a note to say we'll take public comment, and then we can, you know, put it on the website so people can know about it.
It's a good idea.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the supervisor. We did ask for the staff or the board, I believe it's a board, at Kensico Little League. We asked for additional information at last week's work session. And we're waiting for that, and we're waiting to spend some time as a board discussing this issue. That's probably one of the reasons why it's not on tonight's agenda, because we haven't had the chance to really take a look at it and discuss it further.
And I understand that, and I appreciate that. I just want to make sure that the public has, at some point, an ability to come before the board and discuss it with you. And if you're not going to schedule a public hearing or a public comment period, then if there is community that wants to be heard, then they need to come to the next meeting, and or to a meeting prior to it's on your agenda.
It will be advertised when the meeting will be. I think because of the interest, I think it should be something that we would notify the residents in the area so we could take in their comments. I don't think it's anything that the town board would just randomly approve without getting the public input. We have received numerous comments from the entire street, and we're taking all that into consideration. We're not at a point now where we want to do anything, approve it yet. We're still gathering information, but when we do get to the point where we're going to have a discussion here and a vote on it, I would want public input.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Sorry, Lord, if I cut you off.
No.
Anyone else wish to address the board? We'll move on to the town clerk's agenda.
Town Clerk's Agenda, August 13, 2019, Town Board Meeting. Bid opening, Whittier Drive Storm Sewer System Rehabilitation. Public hearing, amend zoning map 140 Bradhurst Avenue. Received Supervisor and Registrar's Report for July 2019. Received Building Department Report for July 2019. Received Mount Pleasant Public Library Board Minutes, June 2019. Received the following signed agreements with Town of Mount Pleasant and Newcastle Fire District Number 1 for Hardscrabble Fire District, Hardscrabble Fire Protection District, King Street Fire Protection, Mount Pleasant Fire Protection District Number 7, Apple Hill. Receive 2018 Independent Auditor's Report for Valhalla Fire District. Receive the following signed agreements with the Pleasantville Fire Districts for Pleasantville Water District Number 1, Bear Ridge Lake Water District, Old Farm Water District, Meadowbrook Water District, West Pleasantville Number 1, West Pleasantville Number 2, South Hartscribble Fire District, Bear Ridge Fire Protection District. 5 zoning board resolutions. Justine Huffaker and Elizabeth Sands, Michael Avanzano, Teresa and Thomas Latimer, Gerard and Irene Lomorno, Ernesto and Marissa Noche. 3 notice of claims. Jean M. Valvano versus Town of Mount Pleasant, Robin Elkin versus Town of Mount Pleasant, Michael and Nancy Keeley versus Town of Mount Pleasant. That's it.
Item H would be referred to the town attorney. Claims.
I'm sorry?
Is that a yes?
I have to.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Work together?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Moving on to council reports. Councilman DiPaolo.
Thank you. Good evening to the public. On behalf of the Comptroller's Office, there are 6 items on the agenda this evening. The first is the Comptroller's memo for August 13th, 2019, and the following claims have been submitted for town board approval. Out of GF prepaid expenses, Civic Plus, which is annual renewal web hosting, that's $3,450. Out of Justice Court Fund, Precise Translations, interpreters for March 2019, $1,575. And Spanish interpreters for court in May was $1,410. The total there, $2,985. Out of the Supervisor's Fund, JT Graphics, mailing of the Mount Pleasant newsletter for spring 2019, 1 installment of $3,187.03, a second installment for same, $1,692.64, for a total of $4,879.67. Out of Receiver of Taxes Fund, Hudson Printing and Graphics, remittance envelopes, $880.70. From Morgan Business Systems, 16,400 printed tax school bills, $656, for a total of $1,536.70. Out of the Town Clerk's Fund, Business Automation Services, we have some licensing software supplies, $1,780. Out of the Attorney's Fund, Harris Beach, we have some legal fees for the creation of Public Works, $301. Some legal fees for Legionnaires of Christ, federal litigation for $387. Tin Can Holdings, $989. Vehicle and traffic prosecution, $3,010. And YAI Group Home litigation, $5,541, for a total of $10,228. Out of the Building Town Hall Fund, Carico Heating, installation of new units in the police office, $5,656. RJG Electrical Contracting, electrical work in the police department, $1,980. Apple Maintenance Cleaning Services, cleaning for the month of June 2019, $2,695. Carico Heating and Cooling, we have some disbursements for boiler room gauges, $784.90. The chiller and review codes, $210. Main floor service, $615. Main office zone, $507.50. Service for the air conditioner, $730. Looks like tower room air conditioning, $280. Water leak from a cooling problem, $210. Central Data Processing Fund, we have Tyler Technologies, update and support our licensing agreements, $32,536.75. The Info Systems line, Civic Plus, this is an annual renewal of web hosting, $3,450. Public Safety line, we have Prestige Custom Cycles, some repairs on one of our police department motorcycles, $2,023.38. Home delivered meals, and from the town of Greenberg, we have meals for July 2019 Senior Citizen Nutrition Program, $9,184. Youth Day Camp line, we have Rosa, I'm not going to pronounce that correctly, so I won't try. It's a cleaning service for the Methodist Church, $2,900. General repair line, we have Green Mountain Pipeline Services. This is some emergency work, $27,020. Peckham Industries, 12.45 tons of blacktop, and that was $1,144.37. Again, under general repairs, still 3 tons of blacktop, $276.68. 32.22 tons of blacktop, $2,709.86. 330 gallons of tack coat, and that's $2,073.50. 37.27 tons of blacktop, $3,221.76. 41.39 tons of blacktop, $3,804.48. 45.86 tons of blacktop, $4,074.71. 5 tons of blacktop, $460.51. 6.49 tons of blacktop, $596.55. 76.64 tons of blacktop, $6,490.21. 80.68 tons of blacktop, $7,266.96. From 3D Industrial, we have some street sweeping, $2,784. Again, some other street sweeping for another $2,784. The total out of that line is $64,707.59. Highway machinery line, we have Henderson Products, tarp and setup kit, $1,521.69. Long Island Sanitation, this is a credit back to us for $850.83. Then we have some expenditures, deflector and clamp sweeper, $277.64. Again, deflector and clamp sweepers, $343.64. Deflector sweeper, $325.25. Miscellaneous parts for the sweeper, $2,007.10. Some other sweeper supplies for $152.73. And lastly, another part for the sweeper, $137.81. A total out of the highway line, $3,915.05. Capital building improvement line, Peter Landy, we had some town hall exterior applications done for $29,097.37. And again, town hall exterior work retainer, $27,372.30 for a total of $56,469.67. Highway garage line roof repair, Abbott and Price roof renovation project, $186,903.88. Berger Hardware supplies for the highway department roof project, $33.97. Charles Manganero highway garage roof feasibility study, $11,820 for a total out of the garage roof repair line, $198,757.85. Out of the capital Old Farm Hill Water Fund, we have Amazon Capital. This is for some hose fittings, $172.16. Berger Hardware clamps for $65.67. Supplies also from Berger Hardware, $16.99. Charles Manganero, we have some engineering services for $29,267.50. Additional engineering study for $68,090. Additional engineering services for $22,762.50, and Phase 1A Deerfield Lane North replacement, $3,815. HACH Chemical Company, we have some kits and supplies for $4,682.73. Jokin Development, we have Old Farm Hill Water District Phase 2 replacement work, $93,118.22. Tri-State Transfer, we have some 20 yards of asbestos removal for $1,000, and the total out of the Old Farm Hill water line is $222,990.77. Capital Pecanico Water District, we have HACH Chemical Company spectrophotometer. Sounds complicated. Out of the Pecanico Water District Fund, that's $4,373.80. Mount Pleasant Consolidated Sewer District, we have expanded supply products. We have some risers and water valves for $973.30. Schmidt's Wholesale, we have some sewer pipe fittings for $145. All Makes Pump and Motor Repair, hard scrabble sewer pump, some work done there, $4,935. Buglione Plumbing and Heating, we have some backflow testing done on Loza Drive for $487.27 for a total on the Mount Pleasant Consolidated Sewer District, $6,540.57. Joint Water District Fund, we have expanded supply products, paving risers and valves, $973.30. HACH Chemical Company, some chlorine analyzer, $6,774.48. Peak Digital pH sensor for $1,017.53. Schmitz Wholesale, we have some meters and encoders for $3,884.06. Mueller Hydrant Repair Kit, $800.55. Water meters for customers, $3,884.06. And some additional water meters, $7,177.50. And then some other water meters for $10,460.35. Buglione Plumbing and Heating, backflow testing, $730.91. HACH Chemical Company, some AC controllers, $1,906.05. The total for the Joint Water District Fund, $37,608.79. Pleasantville Road Water, we have Westchester County doing some water testing for $135, and then New York City Water Board doing some water excess consumption for April 2019, $207.39 for a total of $342.39. Bear Ridge Lake Water District, Westchester County doing some examinations for June, $270. Meadowbrook Water District, Westchester County doing some exams for June 2019, $135. Old Farm Hill Water District, the county exams for June, $387. Pecanico Water District, number 1, D Block Environmental, doing some operations and main work, $14,950. Earth Care, doing some sludge removal in Pecanico, $4,767.50. Buglione Plumbing and Heating, backflow testing, $203.03. Westchester County doing some exams there, $1,814. A total out of the Pecanico Water District for $21,734.53. Apple Hill Farm Water District, Westchester County exam for June, $135. Pleasantville Extension number 1 Water District, county testing there for June, $135. Pleasant Ridge Water District, county testing for June, $135. Mill River Road Water District, county testing for June, $135. Kensico Water District, D Block Environmental, again, operations and main work, $14,950. Schmitz Wholesale, water meters, $545.89. H. Crevitt & Co. is doing some hypochlorite chemical delivery for $2,688. Shannon Chemical Corp., chemicals blended there, $19,343.54. Buglione Plumbing and Heating, backflow testing, $406. Eurofins Eaton Analytical LLC, doing some water sampling, $2,160. Additional sampling, $400, and some additional sampling for $2,160, and additional sampling for $1,400. Some lab service work for $1,440. Additional lab service work for $6,160. Additional lab service work for $4,150. From Westchester County, we have some additional water exams for that Kensico Water District, $2,879. And New York City Water Board is got an expenditure for water for resale for Kensico, $89,287.64. The total out of the Kensico Water District is $147,970.07. Out of our trust and agency escrow line, we have Cleary Consulting. We have work for, I guess that's Sawmill River Road, number 2 and 6, $125. 21 Cleveland Street, $250. 235 Linda Avenue, $125. 465 Columbus Avenue, $125. Kensico Thornwood Sitco review for planning board, $125. Rockefeller review for the planning board, $125. Cleary Consulting for Kingsview Acres, $687.50. Cleary Consulting for 152 Hardscrabble Lake Road, $562.50. Christopher Zadrima, there's a refund of escrow, that's $937.50. Cleary Consulting, 15 Commerce, site plan review, $812.50. 15 Commerce Street, $312.50. Cleary Consulting for 322 Elwood, $375. Through Cleary Consulting for 143 Broadway, $437.50. Cleary Consulting for 211 Sawmill River Road, $562.50. Cleary Consulting for 17 Pebblebrook Way, $687.50. Cleary Consulting for 132 Woodland Drive, $250. Cleary Consulting for 400 Columbus Avenue, $250. 400 Columbus Avenue for the Planning Board review, $437.50. 500 Commerce Street Planning Board review, $500. Cleary Consulting for 16A High Clear review for the Planning Board, $250. 16A High Clear Steep Slope Permit review, $375. Cleary Consulting for the North 60 review, the Planning Board, $1,437.50. Additional expenditure for North 60, $1,062.50. Harris Beach, North 60 Site Review, $1,872. Provident Design and Engineering, some engineering review for $5,401.02. Cleary Consulting for 190 Sawmill River Road, $375. Cleary Consulting for Zeiss Drive, the Shelbourne Review Planning Board, $1,062.50. Cleary Consulting for 290 Commerce Street, Planning Board Review, $812.50. Cleary Consulting for 182 Brady Avenue, Planning Board Review, $687.50. Harris Beach LLC, Brightview for 236 Grasslands Road, $720. Harris Beach for 10 Stevens Avenue, Gate of Heaven Cemetery, $1,125. A total out of the Trust and Agency escrow line, $22,868.02. And a grand total for Brian Keneally's Comptroller's memo for tonight, $878,233. I would move for approval to pay the bills.
Second.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Ms. Agonis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The second item on the agenda for the Comptroller's office is authorization to modify the language in the town's procurement policy. So we are seeking authorization to modify the language in our current policy. We are making a change to increase the threshold for the board approval to $1,500 for the building and police departments. Currently, the threshold exists for $1,500 for the highway, recreation, and traffic and safety department. So we're looking to bring that threshold for spending up to $1,500 for the building department and police department.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo, second by Mr. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Third item is seeking authorization to enter into financial advisory services agreement with Capital Market Advisors. Looking at just the cost only on this, basically it's a sliding scale depending on the work. For bond issues, it would be $7,000 for bonds issued up to $5 million, plus 50 cents per $1,000 of bonds issued over $5 million, with a minimum fee of $11,000. For note issues, $3,000 for issues up to $5 million, plus 50 cents per 1,000 of bonds issued over $5 million, with a minimum of $5,400. For bonds sold with only a term sheet and no official statement, $8,500. For notes sold with only a term sheet and no official statement, $3,000. For capital lease issues, $6,250 plus 50 cents per $1,000 of lease issued. For full continuing disclosure, $1,750 annually, inclusive of all required material event notices. For services unrelated to bond issuance, it would be an hourly fee of $185 per hour. I'd move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 4 is seeking the standard workday and reporting resolution. It's required by New York State Comptroller in accordance with New York State retirement system. So the town, as a town, we must establish standard workdays for certain appointed and elected officials based on a record of activities submitted by those officials. So once passed, this resolution would be posted in a public place for a minimum of 30 days, and a certified copy of the attached forms along with the affidavit of posting will be filed with the New York State retirement system within 45 days. So again, this is to approve the standard work and reporting for elected and appointed officials. I'd move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
Second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
We have some retirements. One is out of the assessor's office. Miss Joanne Paparella, longtime employee here. We thank her for her time here, and as a result of her leaving, she is entitled to a lump sum payout in the amount of $2,300.48, as I believe that's unused time accrued. So I'd move for approval to pay that lump sum payout to Ms. Paparella.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Similar situation from the Highway Department. We have authorization for a lump sum payout for Mr. Joseph Castellano. That amount is for $600.24, and I would move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I thank you for listening to my very exciting.
That was amazing.
Fell asleep.
Good job.
Councilman Saliano.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My report is from the Police Department. We have 8 items for you for this evening from PD. The first item is a purchase order number 30-1937. This is a warranty for payment for police equipment. This is year 2 of a 5-year warranty on 8 new electronic control devices, tasers. The vendor is Axon Enterprises. The total price, it's 8 times $207.50 is $1,660. I respectfully ask the board for a motion of approval for this purchase order.
Motion by Mr. Saliano.
Second.
Second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks so much. Mr. Supervisor, the second item is a purchase order number 30-1938. We were discussing it before, dress uniforms for our men and women of the police department. This is a one-time expenditure. We're taking some money from drug seizure monies, and we're going to supply our police officers with dress uniform blouse. That's the term. We're trying to standardize our police uniforms. The money was seized through hard work of the men and women of the police department, and this purchase shows administration's appreciation for their efforts. The vendor is Rescue Stuff Incorporated. The total price is $8,728.50. And I move for approval for these dress uniforms for the men and women of our police department.
Motion by Mr. Saliano.
Second.
Second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Great, thank you. The third item is purchase order number 30-19-39, police vehicles. We are going to purchase 2 Dodge Durango Pursuit vehicles as per specifications. The total price per vehicle is $49,360.07. The total cost for the 2 vehicles is $98,720.14. I move for approval to purchase these 2 vehicles for our police department, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano.
Second.
Second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Great, thank you. The fourth item is a purchase order number 30-1940. This is for supervisor training. On-site reasonable suspicion drug test screening for PD supervisors. This is part of our collective bargaining agreement. Conditions for random drug screening for police officers. Our line supervisors are required to have this training, and the total cost is $950. I move for approval for this training for our line supervisors, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano.
Second.
Second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The fifth item is a purchase order 30-1941 pedestrian crossing sign. As part of a plan to improve pedestrian safety in the town of Mount Pleasant, a location in Thornwood was selected to install rapid random flashing beacon pedestrian crossing equipment. The location is Commerce Street, just south of Franklin Avenue. The vendor is Glencoe Supply Incorporated. The total price is $12,900. I move for approval, please, for this public safety device, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second?
second by Ms. Haggis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 6 from the police department is a police vehicle computer hardware. The vendor is Patrol PC. The total price is $616. I move for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second?
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Number 7 is, again, a purchase order 30-1943, police vehicle computer. The vendor is Patrol PC. The total price of this computer is $6,045. I move for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second?
second by Ms. Haggis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And our last item, Mr. Supervisor, is annual lease renewal computer support for police vehicles. The vendor is Logmain USA Incorporated, and this is the annual lease renewal, and the total price is $1,299.99. I move for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Mr. DePaul. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I thank you for your patience and have an excellent evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Smalley.
Good evening. I have a report from Parks and Rec. The first item is memo number 54. It comes to us from Steve Mott, who is in charge of parks here in the town of Mount Pleasant. Authorization to solicit bids for the installation of an irrigation system at Lakeside Park. Bid specs will be available in the town clerk's office August 16, 2019, and will be opened on August 30th, 2019 at 11 a.m. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. DePaul. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is memo number 55 from the Superintendent of Rec and Park, Kelly Rizzi. Authorization to enter into the contract with Precise Translations. This comes to us as a need for the Office of Elder Americans. They are requesting authorization to enter into this contract from June 1st, 2019 to May 31st, 2020. It's required by New York State that the town provides clients with service consultants as per the attached agreement. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. DePaul. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next item from Kelly Rizzi is memo number 56. Authorization to adjust seasonal salaries effective July 1st, 2019. Recreation Department is requesting this to adjust these seasonal employee salaries. The rate adjustment is due to a change in responsibilities and titles for this season. Adjusted salaries will be effective as of July 1st, 2019. There are 6 employees on the first list, and that range from $9.50 an hour to $15 an hour, as one is an assistant director. The next list is for 3 new hires, effective August 5th, 2019, at a rate ranging from $8.50 to $8.75. These are 3 lifeguards. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next item does not have a memo number on it, but we're in the process of completing a lifeguard training class. The majority of our lifeguards happen to leave at the end of the July into early August season for college and for high school sports. Therefore, new lifeguards have to be trained halfway through the summer. There are currently 5 additional lifeguards that will be hired at $8.50 an hour, and they will begin on August 17th, and they'll be employed through the Labor Day weekend at the Mount Pleasant Pool Complex. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. DePaul. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The public service announcement for tonight is just to show you that the senior flyer that goes out monthly is available in the Recreation Department office. This flyer highlights all the activities for senior citizens within the town of Mount Pleasant. Please note that these programs do include residents in the villages of Sleepy Hollow, Briarcliff Manor, and Pleasantville. All senior citizens within the town and the villages that fall within the town are eligible to participate in any of the programs listed here at the costs that are listed here. If you need to, please call the Recreation Department, and they'll give you additional information. Thank you.
If I could just plug the remaining concerts in the park. Thursday night, August 15th, 7 o'clock at Carroll Park, we have that duo show, followed by August 22nd, also same time, same place. We have our town community band will be performing all kinds of hits from everything from big band to Broadway show tunes. And then last one of the year is going to be on August 29th, same time, same place, 7 o'clock, Carroll Park. The Wanderers will be performing some 50s and 60s doo-wop and rock. So please come down and join us. It's free. Bring your friends, family, neighbors. It's a nice way to enjoy the last remaining weeks of the summer.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hagedis McHale.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. My report is from the Highway Department, and I have 6 items. And the first one is from Richard Benquit, the Superintendent of Highways, and it's an authorization to deposit bond for a curb cut permit number 1467. And the curb cut is for Justin M. Huffaker at Highland Road between 32 and 34, numbers 32 and 34 in Thornwood, and the bond amount is $540. I move to approve, please.
Motion by Ms. Hagedis.
Second.
Second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The second one is also a check covering the bond amount for a curb cut permit, and that is a curb cut permit number 1468 for Patrick Connolly, and that is at 22 Virginia Lane in Thornwood, and the bond amount is $540 as well. I move to approve, please.
Motion by Ms. Hagedis.
Second.
Second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The third item is from the Superintendent of Highways, Richard Benquit, and he would like to request authorization to amend Purchase Order 50-1912, to include the milling of a portion of Deerfield Lane South on the purchase order. And so there will be a total of square yards of 1,545 square yards. The cost is $1.73 per square yard, and the total anticipated cost is $2,672.85. And the new final total on the purchase order will be $30,906.45. I move to approve, please.
Motion by Ms. Hagedis.
Second.
Second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the next one is an authorization again to amend Purchase Order 50-1913. Please remove Lakeview Avenue from this purchase order. Please include the addition of Deerfield Lane South, which we just mentioned. Portion of Deerfield Lane South, total anticipated tonnage is 239 tons. The cost per ton is $101.80 as per the 2019 bid, and the total cost is $24,330.20. Please note that with the removal of Lakeview Avenue and the addition of Deerfield Lane South, the new final total for this purchase order is $182,527.80, and I move to approve, please.
Motion by Ms. Hagedis.
Second.
Second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the next item, number 5, is also was from David Barker, the Director of Fleet Operations, and it's Purchase Order 50-19-15, and it is for a drop hammer for the Highway Department. So I've been told that what a drop hammer is, but I think I forgot. What does it do? I don't know.
To break up the concrete.
Some of the roadways are concrete as opposed to blacktop, so they have this hydraulic hammer that breaks it up so that it's easy to remove.
Right.
Breaks up macadam.
And the vendor is Bobcat of Westchester and Briarcliff Manor, and it's to be delivered to the Highway Department, and one drop hammer estimate is $6,591.48, and that's a total of $6,591.48. So I move to approve, please.
Motion by Ms. Haggis,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the last item I have is from David Barker, Director of Fleet Operations, and it's to purchase the purchase order 50-19-16, the annual cleaning of the Highway Department oil separator, and the vendor is the vendor is Enviro Waste Oil Recovery, and the description is to clean out the oil, water, and water separator in the Highway Department garage, and the estimated total is $3,615.87. And I move to approve, please.
Motion by Ms. Haggis,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo.
That's
all
all
in
I have.
favor?
Oops.
Aye.
And
Any
that's all I
opposed?
have tonight.
Motion carries. Thank you. Town Attorney, I don't believe we have anything on your agenda tonight.
No.
Next item is the schedule of meetings. Our next work session will be Tuesday, September 3rd at 7 p.m. The business session Tuesday, September 10th at 8 p.m. Being no further business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.